Hello, hello, hello. Yes, finally, day 31 of our 31 days to declutter and deconstruct the mind to gain clarity. Wow. It's not been an easy journey, but it's for me, it was also a test of my commitment to what um, I've chosen to do with whatever time one has left here on this side of eternity. So I'm just glad it's been 31 days. For anybody who's going to be watching now or you watch later, um, I'm excited. Day 31 of The Woman Called You, due over January. Um, Before I go into today's final take for the 31 days, and that's today is the last day of January. I'm excited because not less than an hour ago, I just finished something else with a very good friend of mine, Monday Fix, called Coffee Time with Onyai. So I just had to hurry up, don my t-shirt, and I'm here for The Woman Called You, day 31 of our 31 days to declutter and deconstruct the mind to gain clarity. And we're talking about mental clarity and not clarity of purpose or any other thing, just mental clarity in this do over January. So today we're saying do's and don'ts for maintaining mental clarity. Before I go on, I just want to just quickly do a recap of what The Woman Called You is all about. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, we are a platform of women who are committed to inspiring change through personal growth. Like I would always say, you can't give what you don't have. And I famously have attributed something that I've been mentioning over and over again in the course of the last 31 days to a very good. She's a mentor, she's a teacher, she's so much Apostle Ingo Organ, who famously said to me a couple of years ago, she took me on a journey of John Locke, and she said, see, John Locke, the philosopher, one of his philosophic, not just hypothesis, a theory, was that you can teach anything to anybody at whatever age, as long as you teach it in steps. For most people that know me, they know I love to say things like, you can teach that. When people say you can't teach a dog, an old dog, to you, or you can't teach left hand in old age, they will tell you, Nene will just shoot down that assertion. I believe that you can teach somebody left hand in old age. It's the same thing John Locke postulated with that. His you can teach anybody anything at whatever age, whatever circle of life, as so long as it's taught in stages. So that's basically what the premise of The Woman Called You is. So today, that is day 31, there's the assumption that, okay, fine, we've been going through all the things we need to do to gain clarity. We've gone through, the techniques. In the past 31 days, I've explored quite a number of techniques and all of that, and just encouraging a woman out there that when you are clear in your mind and all of that, I mean, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be happy. Like I said, happy is relative, it's not an end in itself. I talk about happy more in the sense of being content and all that. You'll be able to love because you love yourself first and foremost. And I dare say you'll be successful in whatever you put your mind to do. And, like I said, and I've said over and over again, the, the search, if I dare say it, that will say so, for mental clarity is not magic. You know, every human, you must take responsibility for the level of clarity you want. And that's true. You know, some people just think clarity will just show up. Baka, baka, baka. No. And they will say, oh, if you wait patiently, this is not the case of the patient dog eats the fattest bone, because for you to gain clarity, you have to be actively involved. You know, it's not something that arrives as a matter of luck. It's not something you just say, oh, somebody laid their hands on me and I gain clarity. I don't know, whoever is listening to me or will listen to me later, I want you to understand that whatever kind of clarity you gain mentally, whatever kind of clarity you hope to experience, you must take responsibility for it. I remember earlier today, when I was watching day 30, because I couldn't go live yesterday, so I recorded it, and earlier today, I think after 7 or so, I put it up, and I was watching it as well. And I referred to something I saw online where somebody said, a doctor will not give you health. And that's true. I wish I can lay hands on it. I want to just repeat it here. Let me just get it out so I can. I think it's something somebody should, who had didn't get the chance to listen to the test. Good. It says, doctors don't make you healthy. Teachers don't make you learn. Um, Trainers don't make you fit. Coaches don't make you rich. At some point, you have to realize your growth is your responsibility. And that's just spot on. Your growth is your responsibility, just as much as your mental clarity, mental alertness, your mental strength, developing all of that is your responsibility. So today I'm taking us on do's and don'ts of for maintaining your mental clarity. And it's so important. And I want to let us know, like I said, mental clarity is not magic. Um, Even if you've just attained a level of it, because like I said, 31 days it's not possible for you to be there, at the end of 31 days. It's a process. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So as you live, begin to experience this level of mental clarity in your life, without a doubt, like I've repeated over and over in the course of the past 31 days, life will happen. I'm not talking about tragedy and all of that, though. I mean, if it happens, anything happens, it's all up to the higher power. Like I was saying to people, in my case, it's Jehovah, because when I took us on spiritual self care, I let us know that it's such an integral part of maintaining mental clarity, of finding mental clarity, you know. So if you found it now, or you've been able to discover, just even if it's a small, you know, if we're saying, if we're scoring it from, let's say 1 to 10, let's say you're now at number 4 or number 5, and even if you do get to number 10, I just want us to know that 3 things are most likely going to happen. You'll face confusion at a point. And we're talking about confusion. I mean, it manifests in a lot of ways. Maybe there's a decision you have to take. Like I was talking about decision making in episode 30. There's a decision you have to take and all of that. you will still get to a point. See, the fact that you have mental clarity doesn't mean you get to a point where you're a little bit confused about your priorities. It will happen. It will happen. You get to a point where you're not as decisive as you think you should be. You get to a point where things don't look as clear as they should be. It will happen. But what happens when you've gained mental clarity is that you would know what you need to do. You won't just be like, oh, woe is me, and you stay there. You know the things you need to do. I'm not going into those things today because we've discussed them over the past 31 days, and you can always watch this on the Woman Called You platform, or if you wish to sort through my news feed, you know, but it can be very, very, very cluttered there because it's everything and whatever that comes into my mind I put up on my newsfeed. But if you just go to the Woman Called You group, you'll see everything is sequential from day one up to this day. So after confusion, another thing most likely face I mean, when life happens, is one of the things you face. Distractions will come your way, whether be with family, your job, your relationships. You will definitely face distraction. And the truth is this: when you face distractions, you know, you must muster enough mental strength to pull your attention away from them. You must draw on whatever it is you have learned in terms of, developing mental clarity to walk away from distractions and not let them blindside you. Because most of the times, distractions can blindside us. Your intentions were actually legit. You wanted to do something, you had your mind set on it. But when distractions come, they have a way of just, throwing in a spanner in the works of whatever it is you set out to do. And then there's confusion. So there's confusion, distraction. You see how they go hand in hand. Then another thing that may most likely come to threaten your mental strength, whatever mental clarity you've gained, is disorganization. I said it the other time, when you see that your space around you is beginning to clutter up, you can't even muster energy to make your bed, do things like that. That's how progressional disorganization is. It begins to come, you lose productivity and things like that. So three things. First, you will just watch out, whether for the do's and the don'ts, because we're into that now. You need to watch out for confusion, watch out for distraction, and thirdly, watch out for disorganization. You can decide to give it an anagram and call it CDD. Fine. Like today, somebody was doing this wordscape thing on Facebook, and if you remember when I was talking about mental strength, how to develop it, I showed you ladies my tab where I've been doing wordscapes for some time. So I was so excited. I said to her, in fact, I think most people could. She said something about if you could do 5 words out of a particular word, and I think it was a 4-letter word. People were doing like 5 words, 6 words, and I mean, oh my goodness, I actually listed 10 words. In fact, she just put me on the spot because, oh, congratulations, this, that, digital mama. And I had to admit to her, I said, no, I've been doing wordscapes for the past 40 years. But then, this ones you do on paper, people still do them with their kids. I do them with my kids and their friends when they're around. When I'm saying my kid, my youngest, because once they start going into their teens, they're not interested in such things. Like, just put out a word and say, how many words can you get out of this word? And so now there's one that you can play on your tab. I showed you guys the other time when I was talking about ways and means you can actually build your mental strength, you know. So that is it. You must do something when such things happen, even if it's you're into this Scrabble on your app or whatever. When all this confusion, this distraction, disorganization, when it comes, just have something that you just shut down with, you know. And talking about how to maintain your mental clarity, once you start to walk, I said it the other time, a journey, this Chinese saying, a journey of 1,000 steps or whatever, starts with one small tentative step. So you see, yes, that one day has ended today, but go back, listen, you know, like I said, be an avid reader and all of that, and just begin to take it one step at a time. Remember the John Locke example I used at the beginning? It was one of the things that even helped me for my recovery because I'm doing things one at a time, one little thing at a time. Don't try to belabor yourself. You know, when the confusion comes, the distraction comes, the disorganization comes, just one step at a time. That's what I'm saying to somebody to do today. You know, and until you begin to take these small steps, you won't have get a you won't have sight of the bigger picture. So somebody will be asking, because today is the last day. I've said all I've had to say, what you need to do to gain mental clarity, how you will know when you are mentally weak, how you need to know when you're mentally strong, rather. I know for the episodes, I told us about the check boxes. When I list out things, do your check box and you will know where you stand. I mean, I can't beat my chest here and say, oh, I'm 100%, you know, mentally strong. No. But the thing is, when you choose, I'm talking about inspiring change through personal growth, Abby, when you choose to daily work on those things that are your weaknesses, you know, when you choose to daily work on those things that are your weaknesses, you will see things begin to happen. You will see things begin to evolve. I don't know. It's like I'm losing this thing here. Please, if you can see me, if you're watching, just let me know. Just say I can see you because I'm not too sure. Because the studio I'm broadcasting out of is playing up. So if you can see me, please just a thumbs up. Good. So the first thing you need to do to maintain this mental clarity. Let me just quickly check on Facebook. Sorry if I'm able to broadcast there. I'll just see. Let me just sorry, just in case you can see me. Well, I just need to check. Like I'm actually broadcasting via a studio, and I have to see if it's playing on Facebook. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Precious. Aggie Precious. Aggie Precious says she can hear me. Thank you. I'm very grateful. So good. We're going into the do's. We're going into the do's. The first thing you need to do, my sister, forget it. No matter how you think your mind is sharp, you have mental clarity. If your surroundings, okay, we've done, I'm no longer, my mind is no longer cluttered. I said it in one of the episodes that even me, I start knowing, I begin to know when I'm losing it. When I stand up and there's no urge for me to even make my bed. Everywhere around me is scattered. You just remove your clothes, drop them here, know that something is happening. So these are things you need to make sure you do. Make sure your surrounding is not cluttered, it's orderly. Because even if your if where you are is not ordered, it's not orderly, your mind is very likely to fall back into destructive patterns. Another thing you need to do, if you've ever done your passion statements, one of the things I said in the other one of the episodes, if you ever did your brain dumping technique, go and check. I think it's episode 3 when I taught us the technique of brain dumping, because so many of us we walk around with our heads full. Everything we, how there's a song that says, if he can carry the weight of the world upon his shoulders, he can carry you. But some of us we carry all the weight of the world in our minds. If you've been able to, examine the brain dumping technique I talked about in either episode 3 or 4, one thing you will know to do is that when any of these 3 things crop up, confusion, disorganization, and I forgot what's the third one. I try to remember now. Confusion, disorganization, and I think yes, distraction. The CDD. I talked about anagrams, so I was talking about wordscape. Confusion, distraction, and disorganization. When they come up, you'll be able to identify, closely what is stressing you out. And once you identify what is stressing you out, immediately you address it. The thing about most of us is that we allow things to simmer. We allow things to simmer. And when you allow things to simmer, Before you know it, you know they say the straw that broke the camel's back, and God help you, whoever will be the straw that will break the back. That's why you see things like transferred aggression and all of that. So please, whenever you experience either your confusion, your distraction, or your disorganization, please do well to examine those things that are causing you stress. Another thing you would do very well in order to maintain your mental clarity. We're talking about do's and don'ts. Please flee from negative influences. One major negative influence when you're trying, to just be in that Zen state where your mental space is healthy is toxicity, toxic environment, toxic people. I'm telling you, have you seen people who they offend you and yet they cannot apologize? I'm telling you, you must learn to begin to flee from such people because such people become manipulative. And if you're in a manipulative environment, it doesn't all go well for your mental health. And that's the truth. So you need to keep away from negative influences. One of the things you need to do. I can't also overemphasize the need to have a close friend or associate. I'm so blessed in my life to have a couple of people like that around me, who can share with you, who can help you lighten the load if you're going through anything that falls under any of those three things we talked about. Remember, confusion, distraction, disorganization. If you happen to be around me, you'll see I have it. In fact, I have a sticker, this thing. I just want to turn my camera now for you to see. I have a post-it on my mirror. The C. Run from confusion, Nene. Run from distractions. Run from anything that wants to disorganize you. Back then, when Oprah used to talk about all these affirmations, some of us used to laugh, We didn't understand what she was talking about. But most of those things, they help. And if you have a solid spiritual base, and that's talking about your spiritual health care, you'll find yourself in a situation where one of the ways you can cope with those things is prayer. When I talked about the importance of prayer, you'll be able to pray. And that's where this next thing I'll talk about comes in, the doing, where you have to make sure that every time you are centered. You are centered. If prayer is what centers you, whenever you're distracted, whenever you're unsettled, whenever you're disorganized, whenever you're confused, center yourself. Like when I was talking about mentally strong people, I said mentally strong people, they're not afraid of their company. Go into your secret place, go into your closet, center yourself. One thing you need to do, you should embrace, when we say, oh, these people, every time they're going for strolls, they are walking. How would your head? I went for a walk to clear my head. Learn to just flee from that, call it, if I dare say, I'll call it your kryptonite. Remember that Superman, anytime they bring that green kryptonite, it weakens him completely. That thing that will weaken you, that will make you distracted, that will always make you, feel disorganized or confused. For that moment, it's your kryptonite. And you must flee from that situation. Even when I was talking about negative influences and I was talking about toxicity and toxic people, there are some people that are your kryptonite. They will trigger you because they will say something that would, the attitude you thought you had left behind, the self-deprecating attitude, when they do something or say something to you, it's either you flare up or the second alternative open to you. If you're somebody who is mentally weak, is you just withdraw all those good things you thought about yourself. No, you start harboring self-deficit thoughts. You start harboring self-deprecating thoughts. You start, and this kind of thing happens especially in relationships because usually it has to be somebody who has, a level of, you have a kind of relationship with the person for you to actually be hurt when the person is toxic towards you. Because truly, if it's a stranger, you just stand up and walk away now. So that's why sometimes, sadly, some women who are in relationships with narcissist people, when they think they're getting better mentally. The person just comes and pulls you down. It's like they are on a mission to ensure you are mentally unsettled all the time. So please, when such things happen, go for a walk. Develop a daily routine. And when it's daily, be regular about it. Remember in one of the episodes, not even one, several of the episodes, I told people about my journal that I was using post recovery, and it took me 3 years to let go of it. I used to document. I'm telling a woman, you want to maintain your mental clarity, go out and get yourself a journal. Try it for 1 month and give me feedback. When you sit down during the day, just be taking little notes of what you were doing. Then sit down. I woke up at 5 o'clock, prayed by 6, took my bath. It might seem very, very mundane, but try it. Try it. After a week, look and see. It's just like when people are trying to lose weight and they say keep a food diary. Remember, I said to you people that one of the ways I need to, get hold of my where I'm lacking in terms of my mental strength. I said I need to review my relationship with food, because when somebody who is eating, it's not about the physical thing versus is the mental strength. You see people who say, "Oh, I want to fast," and before you know it, it's all boils down to the mind, mental strength. They call it mind over matter. You need to harness your mental strength to be able to overcome so many adversities or challenges. So think about journaling. Do it for him and check your progress. And that's the thing, when you're developing mental clarity, you need to check your progress. Another thing we need to do, we need to sleep well. In fact, I was mentioning a couple of days, I think it was on Thursday, yes, I attended this Zoom um, medical seminar. I think the guy is, if not the foremost cardiology consultant in Nigeria, Dr. Yomi, or first um, consultants cardiology here in Lagos, you know, and they couldn't overemphasize the need of 8 hours of good sleep every night. And I was actually thinking about, I said, do I have a good night's sleep? And that's one other thing I need to work on, because remember I talked about brain fog, but I said I wasn't going to talk about it in terms of its medical, implications and all that. But I just told those on one of those. Imagine that thing that is as if your head has cotton wool. You find out that if you sleep well, when you wake up, you are perkier, you're stronger. It's something that's, its impact on your mental state cannot be overemphasized. So going on to things that we shouldn't do, don't. Number one, any situation that is disordered and stressful, my sister, don't remain in it. It's not worth your mental health. Don't, you've already chosen and decided that you want mental clarity. If you ever watch the episode when we talked about overcommitting, please, 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 you know what thing you won't do? Don't push your time to the limit of exhaustion, whether it's mentally or physically. Don't say you are doing either, because you remember you ought to have dropped this behavior of you want people to validate you. Oh, she's a nice girl, she's very good. In pursuing mental clarity, you've dropped that. Remember, I told you that when you say no, it's not being self-indulgent. So you see, don't push yourself to the limit of exhaustion. In that health thing, they were telling us of how exhaustion is making people drop dead. So it's not even just about mental exhaustion. It's a threat to your health. So one way you will maintain that mental clarity, don't push yourself. You're not trying to impress anybody. You are your greatest competition, as it should be. Because remember, everybody is unique in the way they've been created. So you can't consistently score yourself against others. You should be the one who is in the possession of the balanced score sheet of your life. And that's the truth. Another don't as you're developing your mental clarity, or you've attained it, or you're still on that journey, you're still in the process. Please, 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 my sister, don't. I say don't, and I say another emphatic don't. Don't be tied down by other people's opinions and attitudes. Do not let it stop you. Like I was talking about spiritual self-care. You're a Christian. What has God said? What has He said to you in the closet? Run with it. And this is not making light of counsel, because remember when I was talking about do, I said have people you can talk to, people in your circle who would understand what you're going through, who will give you the right counsel. But you see, at the same time, seeking counsel doesn't mean following instructions, bumper to bumper. Because remember, you should consider that when people are giving you their own opinions and their instructions, they are giving you from their own personal revelation and their experiences. So when you get the counsel, sieve it and take the decision. You know why I'm saying this? So when you take it, you take responsibility and know that I decided to do this. We're not going to be like Adam who said, the woman you gave me. You're not going to give anybody, because sometimes you are giving them a burden as well. You're not going to give anybody the burden of vicarious responsibility, lawyers call it. When somebody will just take on the responsibility of that's your decision. No. So many women are used to doing it for you, especially when it concerns your spouses. So it's it is my husband that told me to do this. If you want to, remain in the state of mental clarity and be able to advance in whatever it is you're doing, you need to take that decision and know that no longer will I be tied by other people's opinions and attitudes. Another thing you need to do, you see that thing of sweeping stress under the carpet? No, 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 no. My friend calls it, we'll have that conversation. I learned that one. That's one of the things I learned in old age. Remember I said you can learn left hand in old age. Before, I would just leave it. I'll just be festering. I'll be having tummy ache. All kinds of things. I'll be frowning. Hey, I know this person has done this thing to me. Meanwhile, the person is moving around unconcerned. You know how they say when you keep somebody in your mind, you're allowing somebody to live rent-free in your head. When you carry somebody on your mind. So please don't let stress go unaddressed. Address it. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be so when you say, because people think confront, when you confront somebody means fighting or it means quarreling. No. To confront is to bring that thing on the front burner and we'll discuss it. I'll say, this is how you made me feel. Why? I know you give other people the opportunity to air whatever they think their grievances towards you are. So please, if you want your mental state to be good, if you want to maintain clarity, keep pushing on whatever level of clarity you've attained. Remember I said it's your responsibility. Please don't let stress go unaddressed. Even in your marriages, don't let stress go unaddressed. And I need to go back to the issue of sleep in this don't think. Remember I said before, have a good night's sleep of at least 8 hours. But truth be told, it's not always possible. But you know what? Have, even if it's twice a week, a time you totally shut down. At least once or twice. Because you need to reboot. As I said, mental clarity is not a destination. Even as I was talking about emotional intelligence the other time, remember what I said about emotional intelligence? I said it's not like intelligent quotient that you say, oh, her IQ is 200. Then you say, oh, her EQ is 200 and it's 200 forever. No. Emotional intelligence, emotional quotient is consistently affected by, the state of our minds, feelings, emotions, as the case may be. So definitely, you're not a robot. You're not in a robot. Yes, you're not AI. You're not a computer garbage out that your things are just like that. There will be downloads, there will be spikes, which is only normal because you are human. You understand? So you need to reboot, you need that rest. So even if you cannot do the 8 hours every day, I tell you, I don't know, except for a child. I don't remember when last I had an 8 hour sleep. But what I remember is I know I have shut down. So please don't let up on the opportunity of having good rest. I mean, when we're talking about social self-care, I talked about it's not a crime if you go to the spa. People think you need to do self-care when you know your pepe has rested. That's not what it means. Another thing we need to do to maintain your mental clarity. See this social media. I tell you, or is it WhatsApp? The WhatsApp videos that are going up and down. If you want to maintain your mental clarity, you cannot, my sister, I cannot say this enough times. Refuse, reject, I mean, vehemently oppose your mind from receiving, negative news. I mean, all the chaos. Remember, I said it one time. I said the Bible says, "Sufficient is the wahala of today." Then for me to start worrying about tomorrow. I know when you're talking about mental clarity, it is one day at a time. That's part of the 12 steps. I know this firsthand because I went through recovery. And one of the things I needed to do was step away from situations of risks, step away from anything that will threaten my sobriety and mental clarity, mental strength, mental alertness, you know, kind of works in the same pack, so to speak. They're all 10 and 10 pence. Another thing you need to do, and like when you're talking about the news and everything, you can decide to take a fast from social media. I've famously done that. If you listen to one of the episodes when I said, when I used to do political commentary, eh, sometimes they will abuse your whole family. Sometimes my life, I couldn't take it though. So I now made up my mind to be stepping back. And it worked for me. Another thing that is a don't. Please, 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 please. I remember this afternoon, somebody was praying, a very good friend of mine, and she said, we want to thank God that the signals that He gives us concerning our health, we pay attention to it. You see, if you want mental clarity to be your thing, you must not ignore the signals your body gives to you. Remember, I was talking about shutting down a few moments ago. When you need to rest, rest. Have you seen when you're so tired that you know you're going through the motions? You can't. In fact, if you want to sleep like this and somebody's talking to you, you start talking like somebody that is drunk. Your body is crying out for rest. Before somebody talks about mental fatigue, the body first is crying out because I talked about rebooting. The body is looking for a chance to reset itself. I'm telling you. And resetting is not only about closing your eye to sleep. Have you seen people that are sleeping, but they are still worrying in their sleep? They don't have that deep sleep that just gives you this sense of, perkiness when you wake up. So if you can meditate, you can do quiet time, you can go to the spa, you can do anything that, you just let go. My friend talks about why she believes that why most of these people do skydiving or go to jump down from a mountain or mountain climb and everything is because at those moments they are free from every encumberment whatsoever. So you must have a time that you check into your spirit and just release yourself from everything. Don't consistently, you're having a headache and you just want to wing it. Oh, God says, no, no, no. There's a reason why that signal came. You need to protect not just your physical state in this case, but also your mental state. shouldn't do as we want to maintain this mental clarity that I'm sure after now we'll still be working on. Eat well. Eat well. Take deep breaths. That day in that heart health seminar, they just told us, are you sure, do you realize that so many of you are not breathing properly? Learn to take deep breaths. Like if you're watching now, you can see even me, as I've been talking, I've not really been breathing well because you can't talk and breathe well at the same time. So just pause for a moment if you're watching this. And just take a deep breath. Another one maybe. And anytime you do this, you actually feel some weight ebbing out of your body. You feel something ebbing out of your body. Have you seen when people are being massaged or people are being doing meditation? They say, feel the weights ease off. You see, with all these things we've talked about, and the more that is out there, I want you to understand yet again that you see this clarity we seek, unless you want it, nobody's going to drag. You see, mental clarity is not to say you can force a horse to the stream, but you can't force it to drink. And what I always do then when I used to talk to my kids about it, I say, me, I will force you to drink. Oh, I'll bend your head, force that water. You know how they used to force feed babies in those days? Now they say the child doesn't want to leave the child, maybe give the child supplements. Then our mothers will bend your head, do we point their camera, you hear the baby doing almost. I mean, that's child abuse if you ask me. I know my mother did it to all of us. She did it to my children, and all of that. So that's like forcing a horse to drink. But you see, mental clarity, if they like, let them hold you down, press your neck, and pour it in. If you're not ready to attain mental clarity, it's not a quick fix. It's not something that will come and they just give you a portion to drink and automatically the magic has happened. As far as I know, it doesn't work that way. As far as I know, it doesn't happen in one day. As far as I know, it might not happen in 6 months. But one thing I know is that you can just today, make the choice and say, you see, this life, it's one life to live. And as you live it, remember, the pursuit of mental clarity is not self-indulgent. It's not, I will do anything, I don't care about anybody. That's not what I've been saying. When you care about yourself genuinely, you've learn to love yourself. I won't say genuinely because love is love. I'm telling you. When people talk about fake love, I say there's nothing like fake love. It was not love to start with. So if you genuinely decide to pursue mental clarity, no, like I said, it's not being selfish. It's not self-indulgent. It's not, I don't care about anything that's happening to anybody around me. No, it's a case of because I love myself well enough to live in the present. Remember I said mental clarity is living in the present. And when I say live in the present, it's not about whether there's a past time. No, it's living present. My body is here. My mind is here. Everything about me is here. I'm savoring every experience I'm going through. I'm able to, weigh every experience, muster all the presence of mind I need. I can make the right choices. Making the right choices doesn't make me an island. Yes, I can seek counsel, but I have reached a point whereby my life is not run by committee. This person, that person, this person, that person, they don't ultimately determine what and how my life should be and how it should look like. That responsibility is mine. Remember, there's a component of your spiritual power. Like for somebody like me, I'll say in partnership with the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit helps me. So you must make that choice today, determining very strongly that you see this life. You know what the Bible says that, and there's even this song that says, I will stand, my husband will stand. We're not going to stand in partnership with anybody to give account for our stay here. Remember the parable of the talents. What have you chosen to do with life God has given to you? Have you chosen to just do everything every other person is doing? That's a sign of mental weakness. But if you're even choosing to pursue everything every other person is doing, before doing that, you've weighed the pros and the cons, and you have seen it's a right fit for your life, and that's why you are doing it. You are doing it understanding. You are doing it knowing that I'm in this business. If it fails, it's my responsibility, because I weighed all the pros and cons. Remember, I talked to us about our passion statement the other time. I checked all these things. I checked off all my boxes. So it's not working. I own and I'm taking responsibility. Not when it doesn't work. Is this person that showed me this business? So is that person that showed me? That does not show somebody that has mental strength. So I just pray that we will take it in steps to know what to do, how to do it. That, you know, I mean, from the beginning of the program, I said I wasn't going to preach. I wasn't going to be preaching, but I dare say it's the last day here. So I'll just do a little bit of preachy talk. And it's just this that I have to say. So that by the time our work here is done, you know, you will leave this path, this plane, this side of eternity, not having any regrets, knowing that you lived life well because you were present in your life. I know when I know what it means not to be present in my life. For those of you who know my story, I battled addiction for close to 7 years. And there is nothing that is more profound like having a total loss of control, just living life totally not in control of yourself. And I lived that life for 7 years. So that is why I now live a life that when I'm not comfortable with something, I can walk away. It doesn't mean I hate the thing. It doesn't mean I don't like the experience or I'm not enjoying, but it's just that you realize when you have mental clarity that something is not the right fit for you anymore. And you can walk away without regrets. That is the strength of mental clarity. And I hope somebody would experience it. Somebody would attain it. Somebody would just have it right in her grasp and refuse to let go. And just build on the experiences as she goes. Remember that song that says, I will praise him in the good and the bad? I said it here when I started tonight. I said, no matter how mentally strong you are, confusion will happen, distraction will happen, disorganization will happen, but you'll be well equipped to deal with it. So, on that note, thank you very much. It's been a checkered 31 days. Remember, there were times I was in the village, but I was still doing it without audio, in fact, and all of that, without video and all of that. And there are days in the past 31 days that, in fact, when you see just the audio overlay up, probably I'm still in my nightwear or something and all of that, but it's been interesting. So if you haven't watched any of the episodes, like I said, you can just click on the woman called you here on Facebook, and it will take you straight to the page. It's private, so I have to let you in. But then it's better than just viewing it on my feed that is so cluttered with everything I deal with and handle every other day. So thank you very much. And I pray that each and every one of you who has logged on in one way or the other to be a part of this, the woman called you 31 days to declutter and deconstruct the mind to gain clarity. And that's for our do over January. We'll have, hopefully, by God's grace, at the end of the year, we'll have this to say I did it. I was able to attain it to the best of my ability. Yes, I'm not yet there because we're never there. We never attain till we are either translated or we move away from this part of eternity, whether it is rapture, via death, however it happens. But we'll be able to say that I did it present. God bless you. Thank you very much. Good night.